Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Neta Gara Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Neta Gara Hari Bol. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, Text 6. Yadadishtam Bhagavata Shivenadhokshajena cha Tadgriheshu prasaktanam Prayashakshapitam Prabhu. 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 Yadadishtam Bhagavata Shivenadhokshajena cha. Any Matajis? Yadadishtam Bhagavata Shivenadhokshajena cha Tadgriheshu prasaktanam Prayashakshapitam Prabhu. Word to word translation. Yat, what, Adishtam was instructed, Bhagavata by the exalted personality, Shivena, Lord Shiva, Adokshajena by Lord Vishnu, Cha also, Tat that, Griheshu to family affairs, Prasaktanam by us who were too much attached, Prayashaha almost, Shapitam forgotten, Prabhu, O Master. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Master, may we inform you that because of our being overly attached to family affairs, we almost forgot the instructions we received from Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Purport. Remaining in family life is a kind of concession for sense enjoyment. One should know that sense enjoyment is not required, but one has to accept sense enjoyment in as much as one has to live. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kamasya Nendriya Priti, one has to become a Goswami and control his senses. One should not simply use his senses for sense gratification. Rather, the senses should be employed just as much as required for maintaining the body and soul together. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends Anasaktasya Vishayan Athar Yatarham Upayunjata. One should not be attached to sense objects, but should accept sense enjoyment as much as required, no more. If one wishes to enjoy the senses more than required, he becomes attached to family life, which means bondage. All the prachetas admitted their fault in remaining in household life. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunvinitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. श्रीचैतन्यमनोविष्टं स्थापितं मेन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for today morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So this is a very wonderful description comes where Prachetas are addressing Narad Muni with and praying to Narad Muni for their advancement in spiritual life. So very exalted topic. So I seek blessings of His Grace Anandmay Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas here, so that I can speak something for glorifying the Lord and for my own purification. So in this purport, we can see that there are basically prachetas, they are asking, addressing Narad Muni, may we inform you that because of our being overly attached to family affairs, we almost forgot the instructions we received from Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. So, and then purport Prabhupada says that how family affairs, when one is too much attached, then one may, there are all possibilities that one may forget the Lord, and especially one gets into sense enjoyment, and then there is no more remembrance. And that's how one may fall down. So here we see that, of course, Prachetas were very exalted souls. They underwent austerities for 10,000 years underwater, and after that, they personally got the darshan of the Lord. Lord came in front of them, blessed them, and he also said that he said that actually you get into family life, and at the end of the life you will go back to Godhead. So that's what Lord said. And then Prachetas they married, and then that's how it went on. So, and of course, even in this lifetime, in their prachetas, so many years when they were living in household life, actually they did not forget the instruction of the Lord. This is only out of their humility that they are presenting their situation, but actually they were doing different yagyas and the pranayam and all, which we saw in the previous few verses, that they are discussing on it, and they were wanted to increase their remembrance of the Lord more and more. But then why they are saying like this is because this is very much applicable for all of us, that because we get overly attached to different material desires, sense gratification and different activities, and then after getting into that, for us to remember the Lord, it becomes very tough, very challenging. So actually this purport, it is for all of us, where we can understand that how Prabhupada is saying sense enjoyment is not required, and everyone has to become Goswami. Basically, everyone become Goswami, control the senses, and utilize senses only for keeping the body and soul together, and that's it. Just maintain the body somehow and go back to Godhead. So that is what Prabhupada is focusing. So the key themes which I found in this purport, one thing is the three things I found out. One is overly attachment to the family affairs, which leads one to fall down. And then second one is everything what we have should be utilized in Krishna consciousness and not for one's own sense gratification. And the third thing I can say is the instructions of the spiritual master or the Supreme Lord, it can be delayed but not forgotten. So this is this instruction, like I got it from Giriraj Maharaj. In his book he writes, because when Giriraj Maharaj was writing this, I will build you a temple, that time he says that actually Prabhupada, in Prabhupada's time, Giriraj Maharaj has written an article in the Back to Godhead magazine. And Prabhupada came to know, he was very happy. He just took the Back to Godhead magazine and he started reading that article. And it was very beautiful. And Prabhupada glorified Giriraj Maharaj that, oh, you are writing very nicely. So why don't you should write as much as possible. We need lot of literatures in Krishna consciousness. And Giriraj Maharaj was thinking, oh, I am so unqualified. How can I write? But Prabhupada, in 2-3 times, in various occasions, he told Giriraj Maharaj that you should write. That should be your one of the prime duties. And so that instruction was always there in the mind of Giriraj Swami, and he was always meditating on that. But somehow different things used to come. Some devotees will say, "Hey, why you are writing? Writing can be done anytime. You first get into preaching, this, that." So like that, of course, but this instruction of Prabhupada was always in the back of the mind of Giriraj Swami Maharaj. And recently, when he wrote this book, I Will Build You a Temple, almost now in his 70s. So that time he said that actually spiritual master's instruction can be delayed, but it should not be forgotten. So that is very, very important. Even we see in the life of Srila Prabhupada also, Prabhupada got the instruction to go to the West and preach the message of the Lord Chaitanya in English language throughout the world. So the instruction was given, and some people ask, why not Prabhupada went at the age of, as soon as he got the instruction, immediately he should have gone. So like that people ask. But actually, it's not that Prabhupada had forgotten the instruction. The instruction was always there with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was always meditating on that. How can I do this? And he was getting into different things. Externally, it was seeming that he is getting into some business, family life, and different things. But that instruction was always there that I want to preach in the Western world. And he was printing different Back to Goddess magazines and different things Prabhupada was trying to preach in India. And then at one point of time, when he understood that it is not much response is coming in India, and my guru has given me the instruction to preach in the Western world. So then Prabhupada said, Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki. So that's how, but Prabhupada never forgot the instruction. It was always there. And at the right time, Prabhupada actually took the opportunity and he went to the Western countries and delivered all the Paschatya Deshatarine. All the Western countries were delivered by the Prabhupada's going. So like that we see that these three themes are there. So now when we say household life, why Prabhupada is particularly, or even we see in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, many places, the household life is very much being given this that it is not conducive, or there are all chances for fall down and different things. Or even Prahlad Maharaj says that Hitvatma Pakam Griham Andhakupam Vanam Gato Yad Harim Ashrayeta. So he said that the household life is like a deep dark well, like a person is going in the forest and there is a deep dark well which is covered by grasses. And if somebody is just going innocently, he may just fall down. And after falling down, nobody is there to even hear him. Nobody, so Prabhupada said he will fall down and suffer without anybody caring. So that kind of life is compared, that is actually considered as household life. So once one gets into that, then it is very difficult to come out, and then one gets more and more entangled, and even there is like no one to help him much. So Prabhupada says that there are two types of householder. One is Grahastha and one is Grahamedi. So Grahastha means he has wife, children, and all of them are having, they have a home also, but the entire home is like a temple. The husband does the morning get up early, they chant their rounds. The husband will do arti, and the wife will cook bhoga for the Lord, and that's how they will sing Mangal Arti. And the evening they will have a preaching program. They will invite the people to come take darshan of the Lord. They will speak on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So that is actually the exact what we say ideal household life, and that is called Grahastha life. And Grahamedi means the wife, children, everyone comes together only, and instead of altar, there is a TV in front, and they are just all coming together, eating something and watching those things. So then that is like a Grahamedi life. They are just doing passing the time and not utilizing their human life for elevating themselves in Krishna consciousness. So this kind of household life is very much condemned in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So we see that household life actually why it is always told. So there is, if we analyze this, so one thing Prabhupada says here is there is a concession given for sense enjoyment. So like already we say that sense enjoyment and Krishna consciousness goes ill together. So they cannot go together. Either one does Krishna consciousness or one does sense enjoyment and go down. So both cannot go together. If somebody says no, no, I want to practice also and I want to do this also, so that cannot happen. Either one has to take to Krishna consciousness and one has to give up all the material things. So both things cannot be possible. Otherwise, one should utilize all the material things, whatever he has, in the service of the Lord. So that's how it can be done. So the household life, there is a concession for sense gratification. So already it is not conducive for our spiritual life, and in household life we get concession. Okay, you can do it. Like a brahmachari, he is told not to accumulate money, but the householder is told to accumulate money. He's told you accumulate money, keep in bank balance, and take care of the family and the next generations like that. The brahmachari is told that one should not catch the hand of a woman, but householder is told to catch the hand of a woman and circumambulate the fire and take the vows like that. So we see that totally opposite. What is required for the spiritual life and in householder life, it is like opposite. One has to deal with money, one has to deal with land, women, and different things. So in that way, there are chances that one may get lot of entanglement in the material activities, and then he may forget the actual goal of life. And that has happened in the history. We see so many great kings. They were living, but then they got attached to the material things in the kingdom, managing the kingdom, administrations, and all. And then finally, they forgot the Lord. So that thing has happened. So one has to be very careful in this way. So also when one is in family life, there is also kind of, because the husband and the wife and children, they are dependent on the husband. So also there comes this mastership mentality. One feels that, oh, I am the one who is protecting them. I am the one who is giving them food. I am the one who is giving them all the necessities and everything. So one may get that kind of mastership feeling, which is actually supposed to be for the Lord. But then one may think that I am also something, I can also do it. And then one gets into that. So that is also a little very dangerous for our spiritual practices. So regarding this Grahamedya and Grahastha, once like I was hearing about one family in Mumbai. So actually, this family, they were from a very rich background. They actually, the husband, he was owner of a company. He had around 500 crores of property, and he was well to do. Everything was going nicely. He had a wife and two children, and he was living a happy life. He may be around 50, age of 50, like that. But then what happened is, because when it is like it says, no, that household life, too much comforts come, luxuries come, and more than necessities, luxury overcomes. One feels that, oh, and that actually drags us down. The comfortable position, the soft bed, and the luxurious things at home. So this person, when he was having this kind of so much wealth and everything, whatever is required, one is dreaming for, he had everything. So then what happened is he got into affair with a young girl who was just in 20s like that. And this girl, of course, what she will find attractive in the person of age 50, she was just attracted to the money of the person because he was very rich. So she wanted to. She was attracted to the richness. She was attracted to the pocket of this millionaire, rich person. And then, but he thought that love is blind. So he thought that she is actually loving me so much. My wife. I am always having so much quarrels. The children, even though I am so great, they are not listening to me much. But this girl is so obedient to me, and she can actually fulfill all my desires. So then he thought, okay, let me. And he was having affair with her, and that was came to the notice of the wife, and the wife became very insecure, and she said their clashes increased. And later on, this person said that, okay, I don't want to live with you. You go back to your father. I'm going to marry this girl and stay like that. And then this man, he married this young girl, and the previous wife and children, they were removed from the home. So in that way, so this marriage happened. But after marriage, within just 1 or 2 days, this rich man understood that this girl is already having affair with more dozen boys. And then he was into anxiety. He thought that till now he was just looking at all the good qualities of her, but now he understood that she is having so many affairs. And then he became very angry. He said, "Oh, you can't do like this. You have already married me." So she said, "No, no, I am going to continue. This is what I like." And then he says, okay, I'm divorcing you. So he wanted to divorce her also. And then she says, okay, you can divorce me, but you have to give me half of your property. So he was having 500 crore. So he said half of property means 250 crore you have to give me. And it was just within a week or something. Just 1 week of marriage, and she is getting 250 crores. So then he says, no, no, I cannot do that. And then, and one thing was coming in the mind of this girl. She thought that, why 250 crore? If I just shoot him, I can get the entire 500 crore also. And then when he came to know that this girl is thinking like that, he wanted to kill her also. So both of them wanted to kill each other. So they had their own bodyguards kept, so that just for protection. And he has hired some people to kill her, and that thing was going on. So they were staying in the same home, but fearful that anytime death may come. So that is actually the life of a grahastha, sorry, gramedi. So that is the life of a gramedi, where one is so much attached to the family things and sense gratification, that one gets entangled into this materialistic activities. And instead of making a shortcut and getting into some enjoyment, one will get glide down and get into nowhere. So that's why it is very dangerous. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj says that graham andakupam. So that is very, very dangerous. Of course, one who is having Krishna in the center of their life, then all these things becomes very easy. Easy in the sense that at least they have a guru, spiritual master, whom they follow the instructions of, and they do chanting and dancing and kirtans, preaching. So in that way, it becomes very easy. But otherwise, for a normal materialistic karmi family, then it becomes very difficult. They are not able to control their senses, and then they get into different types of troubles and anxieties. So now, when it is said about um, householder life, all these things. So main thing what Prabhupada is focusing is not household life. He is not telling that household life is wrong or something. Mainly Prabhupada is saying that in household sense gratification is wrong, and in household life you get uh, concession for sense gratification, and then one may fall down. So in that way, sense gratification can come in anyone's life. It's not only for household. So householders, this is becomes very difficult in terms of controlling the senses and having so many luxuries and different things. So then to maintain one's Krishna consciousness may be little challenging for a person who is not so sincere. Also, last week when we were hearing Srila Prabhupada's class, Prabhupada was telling that there are four kinds of enemies in household life. So the first one is Rina Karta Pita Shatru. Yeah, the father who is having debt. So we see many times when we preach and all, we see that many boys, they are already having lot of debt. Their father has taken, and now the son is actually need to earn and lot and pay the debts of the father. But it is said that the father, Rinakarta Pita Shatru, that means he has lot of debt and he dies, then such father is actually enemy, because he did not pay, and now the son has to pay the remaining debts. So then that's how Pita is becomes Shatru. Then Mata Shatrur Vyabhicharini. That means if the mother, if she gets married to another man, then she is also enemy. So if mother should not actually marry somebody else, already son is there to take care of her. But if the mother marries another man, then she is also enemy. And Rupavati Bharya Shatrur. That means if one's wife is very beautiful, then she is enemy. Because one may get attached to her and then not able to come out of family life. So Prabhupada said that I did not like my wife, and that's why I took sannyas. So I could come out of that. And the fourth one is Putra Shatrur Apandita. If the son, if he is a fool and rascal, then he is also enemy. So the son actually should be the devotee of the Lord. Then it is success. So that's how we see that these things come. But now these things applies to even to the everyone. It's not only for householder. The sense gratification, it can come in anyone's life. Like we see that after Srila Prabhupada's departure, when some people, some of the disciples were given certain areas to take care. So they got some post and position. They got a lot of resources, and likewise so many things they got. But one day, so sometimes those leaders, they got so many things. They used to go in flights, they used to get the best of the facilities and everything, but they became complacent in their practices, and they fell down in their from their spiritual life. So it is not just for householder. The sense gratification is there in everyone. For everyone it is very very dangerous. And that's what we see, because we are in the material world. So this is very great danger. And Prabhupada used to say that my disciples are not sufficiently fearful of Maya. Prabhupada used to say like that. So everything is done, so many temples are opened, so many devotees are there, but somehow I am still fearing because my disciples are not sufficiently fearful of Maya. Anytime they may get caught by Maya and they will fall down. So it is very important that every person, whether he may be a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, or even sannyas, so they have to be actually being under a like very tight shelter of Srila Prabhupada and the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, and that's how one will be saved, by following the instruction of one's guru. So that is very very required. So in this connection, yeah, so this is very required in terms of not to, and basically one has to utilize everything in the service of the Lord, then it is no problem. Like once we saw that uh, one of the boys staying in our one temple, so he got a very high package in his company. And as soon as he got that package, he became like, initially was very simple, nicely chanting, dancing, everything. But as soon as he got this package, he became after a few months, we could see the changes in him. And then eventually we found that his material ambition started increasing. He wanted to do this, that, and compromising on spiritual life, he started to get into many other things. And then at one point of time, he was just lost from Krishna consciousness. He went to some places. Actually, he went to abroad also, and he started doing working in one of the companies, and became very rich and everything. And he's completely forgot the the spiritual life, the chanting of the holy names, everything he left. And then devotees were very much worried about him, but then somehow they could not contact him. He just went there and became like separate from everyone. But what happened is, even if a devotee may forget the Lord, Lord never forgets his devotees. So then this devotee, somehow he married also, and somehow the place where they were staying, the Iskcon temple was very near. So just backside there was a Iskcon temple, which he was not aware of. But his wife, who was non-devotee, she started going to the temple, and she started going and coming. And then one day, she told his this husband that, oh, let us go. There is very nice temple here, very nice kirtan, everything goes on. And he thought which temple it is she is talking about. Maybe some temple, maybe this. One of the holidays they went. After going, he saw this is the Iskcon temple. And as soon as he entered, he took darshan of Srila Prabhupada, and took darshan of the deities, the chanting, the devotees were dancing, and he was so much attracted. And he started everything like flashback from the previous his job life. He started remembering everything, what was happening, and I was so happy when I was chanting, dancing, and everything was going nicely. I was doing so many services, and suddenly he started crying there in front of everyone. And then nobody could understand why he's crying. Then later he actually confessed that how initially he was into Krishna consciousness, but because of getting into so many material desires and ambitions and everything, he actually forgot Krishna consciousness. And then he met the devotees there and he said that I want to come back. I again want to start chanting and again want to revive my Krishna consciousness. And of course, devotees happily embraced him, took him, and again they started, both husband and wife started going to the temple, and that's how they continued. So we see that this is how the Lord will never forget us. And here also, Narad Muni comes in Pracheta's life also. Even in the so many places, whenever this has happened, there is arrangement done by the Lord, which by which the devotee was come out of this complacency thing, and then he was again engaged in the spiritual activities. But there can be chance that we may not get such opportunity, or we may get but the time is already lost, we may not be able to take advantage of it. So that's why it is best that we are always careful not to get into any such things. So that's how the necessity versus luxury, one has to be very very sure that what is my requirement for my life. So here Prabhupada says that whatever it takes to keep body and soul together. So one has to see that whatever is required for me, that has to be accepted. But if it too much luxurious, too many things, then one should not get into that, because the nature of comfort or the comfortable situation is one becomes complacent, and then that actually makes him weaker and weaker. Like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he says that actually comfort. Uh, he says that comforts often erode our devotion subtly. Comforts often erode our devotion subtly. So what he says that actually like a dam is there. If some people, if suppose they are attacking, some mischief people are doing there and they are attacking the dam, they are basically breaking the dam externally. Then immediately there will be some forces, government forces, they will come and they will stop them, and that's how the things will be saved. But if the same miscreants, if they damage the dam, it's a tiny leak if they make in the dam, and so that will be without anyone's notice. Nobody will even understand that there is some hole made, and the entire dam will be eventually emptied. So Chaitanya Prabhu was telling that comfortable situation is like that. Sometimes when the sense gratification comes in a big way, one may just reject it. But sometimes it comes through a comfortable situation, or in a way that we may think that okay, no problem, this can be there, and then slowly it actually drags us down. Basically what happens is we have a god is there in the priority list on the top, but comfortable situation it pushes god down in the priority list, and different things come up, and then one starts taking shelter of all these things. One starts taking shelter of his family, his relatives, his bank balance, and so many other things. And he thinks okay, this can save me if something happens, then this policy is there, that policy is there. So like that one takes shelter of different things in the material world. And especially because in the family life there are so many things available, then there are so many shelters, and then one may forget to take shelter of the Lord. One may not take shelter of the Lord, and so that's why it is said that one should keep his possessions bare minimum, so that he can take shelter of the Lord whenever the so always he can take shelter of the laws, depend on the Lord. That is very much required. Otherwise some person may think that oh, family is there, why to fear so much. One person, Radhesham Prabhu was telling that one person was like that. He was very much. He actually one sage came to him. That person was about to retire. So then the sage came. He says that anyway you are retiring now. Why not you come become a monk in our monastery? So please come there. So he said, oh, but I can come. But there are so many people who love me, my relatives, friends. They love me so much. How can I? If you go, then what will happen to them? So then the sage says, no, no, nobody loves you. And then he was shocked. He says, How come you say that? And he says, okay. He spoke something in the ears of the man. Then this old man, he goes home and he lies down on the ground, and pretending as that he has died. And all relatives, they come, the circumambulance, they understand that he has left, and they start crying, weeping, and different things. So, and he was having a son, the daughter-in-law, wife, everybody was there, everybody was weeping. And then the son saw some sage was passing by, same sage. So they called the sage. They said that, oh, can you do something? And the sage says, yes, actually his life can be back, but it has to be replaced with one of you. So if one of you, if you are ready to give up your life, then his life can come back. So then everyone started looking at each other. And then this eldest son was there. He spoke. He said, actually, I am the eldest here, and I am taking care. I have to take so many decisions in the family. So if I am not there, it is not good. So then he started looking at his mother. And the mother says, oh, why you are looking at me? She said that without my approval, your decisions doesn't matter. So I am the one very much required in the family. So then she said, your wife can die. She is she is actually, anyway, if she dies also, you can remarry. So there is no problem. And the wife became angry. She says, oh, you both should die. Why should I die? And they were having such quarrels among themselves. And the old man who was listening to everything immediately got up from there, and he says, none of you have to die. I am going with the sage. And then he left with the sage to become a monk, like that. So we see that this is how the one may take shelter of different things, but ultimately none of these shelters are going to help us when we leave the body. None of these shelters, even in this life also, if somebody is suffering some disease, he may look for his relatives. They may do some kind of take him to hospital, give some medicines and different things, but they cannot relieve him from that pain. They can't relieve him. They can't take him back from the his deathbed. They can't say that I will exchange my life with you, or they are not able to do anything. Like Gajendra's case also, when Gajendra was about to die, he looked at all the family, relatives, everybody was on the bank. They were, he's wanted them to save, but they said, we can just cry for you. We can't do anything else. So then he thought, oh, these are all temporary shelters. I have to take shelter of the permanent thing, that is the Supreme Lord. And then he immediately called out for the Lord. He started reciting the prayers which he remembered from his previous life. And as soon as he called, Lord was already ready with his Garuda Vahan. So immediately, Lord was just waiting when this devotee will call and I will come. Lord came very fast and delivered both Gajendra and crocodile, like that. So here we see that this is how one has to follow the things, and then one will not be entangled. One has to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada also says that sense enjoyment is not required, and one has to accept sense enjoyment in as much as one has to live, and one has to become Goswami and control his senses. So when we hear this instruction, I was thinking, how can we apply this in our life? Now Prabhupada is telling Goswami immediately, or maybe everyone has to leave their homes and just become a Goswami, eating very little, no sense gratification in terms of, Goswamis, no, 3 drops of buttermilk in a day. So now if we see that level, it is, I think none of us will be here now, because if that is the standard of devotional service. But then Prabhupada is demanding here that one should not simply use the senses for sense gratification, but it should be employed as much as required to maintain body and soul together. So one has to become a Goswami. So I was hearing one class from one senior devotee. So he was telling in the class that actually when such statements come in our life, one should not immediately shoot the statements. Oh, what is this? Is not practical. How can this be done? This is not practical. No, this is not practical. That is not practical. So people keep saying that this is all things are not practical. Even when Prabhupada went to Western countries to preach, there were there were people who said that these 4 regulative principles are not practical. You reduce the illicit sex, then you see you will get many followers. And Prabhupada says, I don't want many follows. If even if one person takes to this and becomes pure devotee, my life is successful. So Prabhupada never compromised. But nowadays people say that, oh, getting up at 4 o'clock is not practical, Mangalarti is not, even chanting 16 rounds is not so practical. So people are trying to get into different things. But actually, what is practical then? Sense gratification. They say that that is only practical. Then what remains? How can one come out? So if one keeps saying that this is not practical, that is not practical, then that is not the thing. So so I was here when I was hearing the lecture. So this Prabhu was telling that actually in once there was a speaker who was giving class, and he spoke in the class that everyone, like he spoke from Prabhupada also says that every grasta, every householder, he should give 50% of his income in the service of the Lord. So 50% of his income means whatever he earns, suppose he earns 50,000, 25,000 in the service of the Lord. So then there were two devotees sitting in the class. They looked at each other and they says, not possible. It's impossible. Like that, they just shooted the instruction. So this devotee was telling that actually, whenever we read such kind of statements in Prabhupada's books, so we should not immediately shoot that instruction saying that it's not practical. We should understand that this is the level which I have to approach. I have to come to this level. Okay, 50% one has to give means I have to come. As of now, I may not be able to give 50%. I can give whatever is my capacity. 1%, 5%, 10%. At least I start giving, and then at one point of time when I have already my son grown up, he is having his job and different things are going on, I can increase that giving the income as a service of the Lord to 50%. So now it may not be possible, but eventually I can come to that platform. So even these things, we should understand that we may not be in the level of directly coming to the level of Goswami, but at least start little bit. Instead of taking every day big luxurious very delicious items, we may take, okay, once in a week or once in 2 weeks, that can sorry, once in a week or twice in a week, one can take like that, but not that every day one is taking and opulent. And so then one may not feel the or need of Lord. He may think that, oh, I am getting everything, no need of Lord, like that. So one should start with little bit. Instead of just saying that it is not practical, one should at least start with some place, then go on increasing it slowly, increasing our commitment, our dedication to the mission of Prabhupada. And that's how we see that the things will be taken care. And Lord will also, it's not that our endeavor and Lord's mercy. So both things will be taken care. We endeavor little bit, and then Lord will also give us mercy. Lord gives us direction, guidance, and that's how we will grow, and eventually maybe we can come to this platform also. So it only requires one sincere endeavors, which sincere endeavors, that is the main thing. So when we are very sincere, then Lord will shower his mercy, and then there are chances that we can also. So Prabhupada said also, no, that your duty anyone can become, only one should have a desire. So that is very much required. So one statement comes here is Chaitanya Charampur statement only. Instead of seeking material comfort that breeds spiritual complacency, we can seek transcendental comfort in the Lord and increase our spiritual intensity. So material comfort, it breeds complacency in spiritual life, whereas transcendental comfort, it actually increases our spiritual intensity. So that is very required. So actually austerities can make us very strong, whereas the sense gratification makes us weak. The more one gets into sense gratification, one becomes more and more weaker. Like once, whereas like this once one person, no, he saw that there was an egg and the bird was trying to come out of it. It was trying to, it was very difficult for him, he was trying to come. So he thought, let me just break the egg and immediately he can come, like that. So he broke the egg and the birds came. So when the scientists were researching, they said that actually the eggs, the birds which come out of the egg by themselves, they are very strong. And the eggs which actually does not do much, that does not apply much pressure, they are just removed by somebody with the help of someone, they actually remain weak. in their entire life. So why like that? Because so this austerities actually does not make us weak, but that makes us stronger. Whereas the comforts in one's life that can make us weaker, because and complacent in our spiritual practices, even in the material career and different things also. So too much getting comforts and things that can lead. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he was getting so many devotees, they were bringing different things for him. But Prabhupada was saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying that this is not good, this is not good for a sannyasi, one should not eat so much. And so like that sometimes he used to take also, and sometimes he will say no, no, that's enough. Like if somebody that who was it, Jagdananda Pandit used to bring sandalwood oil and different things for massaging, and then he had to tell them no, this is not good. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself exhibited that. And even in the life of Srila Prabhupada, we see his disciples also, they get so many facilities because they are into that position, but then they don't get attached to those facilities. Their focus is very clear. I want to serve the Lord, I want to serve Srila Prabhupada, and whatever comes, just to do it, I will take to it. If it is not conducive, then I should not get remain with that. As in Radheshampur also, if it is very much required, then only we'll take a flight and travel. Otherwise, he says I can just go in some train, and that is enough. So, so the comfortable situation that actually can make us complacent, and then these things come. But if one can just remain in the shelter of a guru, the spiritual master, and take instruction from him, guidance, and one can ask also what is necessity for me, what is luxury for me, and if it is approved from the authorities, from the spiritual master, then one can go ahead with it, and that's how one can continue. So, so we see that the instructions. So here also Prachetas did not forget the instruction. They actually remembered it, and they only are admitting it here. And they always remembered the Lord's instruction, and then went ahead, fulfilling, and went back to Godhead. So this is how we could have wonderful discussion on this particular verse. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.